All right, so get ready for a deep dive.
Into a case that's really captivated people for decades now, and that's the Menendez brothers.
Yes.
And I think,
It's a big one.
it is a big one, and we all know the basics, but
Right.
trust me, there are so many twists and turns that you won't believe.
Absolutely.
We're going to be talking about a shocking crime scene.
Yes.
And we're talking about a family that was drowning in wealth, yet it seems like there was just this darkness surrounding them.
Darkness, yeah.
Yeah, and all of this new evidence that's come to light after all these years.
It's a case that makes you question everything you thought you knew about, like, family and justice. And the price of wealth, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of that comes into play.
Okay, so let's rewind to August 20th, 1989.
Okay.
Picture a Beverly Hills mansion.
Okay.
The epitome of luxury.
Mm-hmm.
Inside, José and Kitty Menendez are found murdered in their den. But this wasn't just any murder.
No.
The details, I mean, they were gruesome.
Gruesome, absolutely. So José was shot 6 times. Kitty 10.
Oh, my God.
A shotgun blast to the head for José.
Wow.
This wasn't just about anger. This was deeply personal,
Yeah, it was like an execution.
Like an execution.
It's chilling.
Yeah.
So imagine you're at the crime scene.
Okay.
Okay. The sons, Lyle and Erik,
Mm-hmm.
their reactions are like all over the place.
Yeah.
Lyle is despondent, barely holding it together.
Right.
Erik, on the other hand, is having a breakdown, like banging his head against a tree.
Wow. Talk about a recipe for suspicion.
Right. Well, the police didn't immediately zero in on the brothers.
Right.
There was this theory, maybe it was a mob hit.
Oh, really?
Connected to his work as a high-powered entertainment executive.
Okay.
Others thought it was a robbery gone wrong.
What's interesting is how quickly that narrative shifted once the brothers' spending habits came to light.
And they did.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking sports cars, designer clothes, trips to Europe.
Yeah.
Like, they hit the jackpot the minute their parents died.
Yeah. It makes you wonder.
I'm not saying that grief manifests the same way.
Right.
For everyone, but
of course.
This lavish spending spree definitely raised a few eyebrows.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you have this sudden influx of wealth.
Right.
Coupled with the trauma of losing your parents, even under suspicious circumstances.
Right.
And so some experts argue that kind of spending can be a way of numbing the pain.
Oh, interesting.
A desperate attempt to create a sense of normalcy.
Right.
Amidst this chaos.
A distraction from the guilt, maybe?
Possibly. Or perhaps a subconscious cry for help.
Right.
A way of saying, like, look at me. Pay attention to me. Something's wrong.
Wow.
It's a classic example of how wealth can really complicate and obscure the truth of someone's internal state.
Okay, so we have this brutal crime, conflicting behaviors from the brothers.
Yeah.
A mountain of money suddenly at their disposal.
That's a lot.
And this is where Dr. Jerome Oziel, Erik's former therapist, comes back into the picture.
Right.
So Erik starts seeing him again after the murders. And eventually Lyle joins these sessions too. And little did they know that these therapy sessions would become like the crux of the case.
It's almost like something out of a movie, right?
Right.
6 months after the murders, Erik confesses to Dr. Oziel.
Wow.
And what's even more shocking, it's all recorded on tape.
On tape? What were they thinking?
I know, it's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe a misguided attempt at transparency, or perhaps they underestimated the legal ramifications of,
Right.
confessing to a crime.
Right.
Even within the supposed confines of therapy.
Right.
Whatever the reason, those tapes became a game changer.
They did. And on those tapes, a whole new layer of the story unfolds, right? This is where the brothers start talking about abuse.
Yes. Yeah, they paint a very different picture of José Menendez.
Okay.
One that goes beyond just a demanding father.
Right.
In these recordings, they describe him as controlling, manipulative, and abusive.
Yeah.
Erik especially details years of alleged sexual abuse.
Oh, gosh.
Claiming it started when he was just a child.
It's chilling to think about those tapes, those confessions coming to light and how the public would react.
Yeah, and I think...
I can't even imagine what it must have been like for them carrying that kind of trauma.
And remember, this was the early 90s.
Right?
Public awareness and understanding of child sexual abuse were vastly different
Of course, yeah.
So the trial which was broadcast on court TV, became this national spectacle.
It's huge, yeah.
People were glued to their screen, grappling with these horrifying allegations,
That's cool.
trying to reconcile the picture of this seemingly perfect family with the darkness that was being exposed.
And the media, I mean, they seized on that, right?
Totally.
It became this media frenzy, this battle of narratives. The spoiled rich kids who killed for money versus the abused sons who finally fought back.
Right, exactly.
It's like everyone had an opinion, everyone took sides.
Absolutely. And the Menendez brothers became almost symbolic of this cultural debate about wealth and privilege. And the hidden horrors that can exist behind closed doors. And those early perceptions, fueled by the media, undoubtedly influenced how people viewed the evidence.
Okay, so the first trial, despite the shocking confession, the abuse allegations, ended with a hung jury. It seemed like nobody knew what to believe. But then the second trial, with these stricter limitations on what evidence could be admitted, well, that's when the brothers' luck ran out.
And the prosecution really honed in on the spending spree, using it to paint the brothers as cold and calculating, and motivated purely by greed. They argued that the abuse claims were a fabrication. A desperate attempt to escape accountability for their actions.
And it worked.
They
were found guilty of first-degree murder.
It's crazy.
Sentenced to life without parole.
Wow.
Case closed.
Well, that's what everyone thought until, remember those twists and turns I mentioned? In 2018, a letter written by Erik to his cousin Andy surfaced.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, this wasn't just any letter.
Okay.
It detailed the abuse, the fear he felt living under his father's control. And get this, it was written before the murders even took place.
Talk about a bombshell. If that's authentic, that completely undermines the prosecution's case.
Exactly. It provides a level of corroboration that wasn't available during the trials. And then, as if that wasn't enough, another twist emerged in 2023.
Okay.
Roy Rossello, a former member of the band Menudo.
Wait, Menudo, the boy band. What?
Yes. Came forward with his own allegations against José Menendez.
What does that have to do with anything?
So, remember how José Menendez was an executive at RCA Records?
Right.
Well, Rossello alleges that José drugged and raped him when he was a teenager.
Wow, so we're not just talking about...
Well, suddenly the scope of the case expands,
Right, we're not just talking about one family's word against another. We're talking about multiple accusations.
Exactly, and it suggests a potential pattern. Of predatory behavior.
And that's got to carry some serious legal ramifications.
Precisely. And it really makes you think about the ripple effect of abuse.
Oh, absolutely.
How it can echo through time and impact so many lives. And with this new evidence, the Menendez brothers and their lawyers are challenging their convictions, hoping for a new trial, a chance to rewrite history.
Wow. So that brings us to this upcoming hearing.
I know, right?
Scheduled for November 26th. 2024.
Yes.
This isn't just a legal proceeding. This is a cultural moment.
It is. It's huge.
A chance to re-examine a case that's haunted us for decades.
So long.
But before we get into that, let's talk about how this case has been reshaped by the court of public opinion.
Okay.
Particularly with the rise of true crime documentaries and social media. It's I mean, just think about how true crime documentaries have just exploded.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Everybody loves them.
I know. It's like its own genre now.
I know.
Take the recent Netflix series, Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story. I mean, it's reignited this whole, interest in the case, especially for a lot of...
A younger generation?
Younger people.
Who didn't.
Yeah, they weren't even alive when this happened.
They weren't around when it happened.
It's crazy, yeah.
It's true, and it speaks to our enduring fascination with true crime. But these documentaries can be a double-edged sword, right? On one hand, they can shed light on injustices. Uncover new evidence, spark important conversations. But then on the other hand, there's always that risk of sensationalizing tragedy. And reducing complex human lives into these captivating narratives.
And you have to be so careful, I think,
Right.
not to get, like, too caught up in the drama of it all, because it's easy to forget.
Yeah.
We're talking about real people's lives here.
These are real people.
Yeah, these aren't characters in a TV show.
Exactly. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
The Menendez brothers' story,
Yeah.
in particular, has been so shaped by these media portrayals over the years.
Absolutely.
I mean, those early images of them, Lyle with that smirk,
right.
Erik seemingly on the verge of, like, collapse, and they became ingrained in the public consciousness.
Totally.
But do those images actually reflect the truth?
Right.
Or are they just a product of clever editing and a media hungry for a story?
Right. It makes you think about, I mean, how much our perceptions are shaped by what we see, what we hear.
Of course.
Especially now. With social media.
In the age of social media, yeah.
I mean, you got people on TikTok, like, dissecting this case.
Yes.
Debating the evidence.
Right.
Even saying that they're innocent.
Right.
It's like this whole new generation is discovering this story.
It's true.
And coming to their own conclusions.
And that's the power of revisiting these cases.
Right.
With fresh eyes.
Right.
We have the opportunity to challenge our own biases.
Right.
Consider perspectives that we might have overlooked before.
Right. Right.
It's not about erasing the past.
Right.
But it's about acknowledging that our understanding of it can evolve as new information comes to light.
So as we stand on the cusp of this upcoming hearing.
Right.
We're not just waiting for some legal decision.
Yeah.
We are witnessing, like...
It's a moment.
A cultural reckoning.
It is.
I mean, what will it mean?
I know.
What will it mean if after all of these years...
Right.
The Menendez brothers are granted a new trial?
Right.
Will it change how we view this case?
Right.
Or have those early narratives just become so ingrained?
It's a good question.
That the truth no longer matters?
I mean, those are the questions that, we have to grapple with as a society, right?
Right.
The Menendez brothers case
right.
really is a stark reminder
right.
that justice is rarely black and white.
Right.
It's messy, it's imperfect, and it's full of these twists and turns that defy easy answers.
And for you listening, this deep dive into the Menendez brothers' story, it isn't just about revisiting a sensational crime. It's about questioning everything.
It is.
The nature of truth.
Right.
The power of perception.
Yeah.
And really the price of justice in a world where narratives are so easily manipulated.
Yes.
And the truth often remains elusive.
It's a case that stays with you long after the credits roll,
Right, it really does.
It forces you to confront these uncomfortable truths about family and trauma and really the limits of our own understanding.
It's a story that reminds us that sometimes the most shocking twists are yet to come.
Yeah, you never know.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring.
Keep an open mind.
And never underestimate the power of a good deep dive.
That's right.